people should not be afraid of going outside, of walking outside, etc. That's why we need to give the streets back to the people. We need to also deal with problems that we have.
Good afternoon. I'm here with Corinne Cahen, who is the Minister for Family Affairs and Integration and a candidate in the forthcoming municipal elections. Corinne, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, Corinne, let's get down to business. What are 3 hot issues that you think will actually determine the outcome of this election?
I think one issue is housing, of course. So we need more housing for young people, for students coming back from university, starting their professional life here in Luxembourg. So there we don't need houses of 300 square meters, but studios or small flats of 30, 40, 50 square meters. So we have to build denser and a little bit higher also on some places.
Where, hang on, people talk about housing, but where are we going to put that? I'm always told that there's no land.
Yeah, first of all, we have some land, but we need to build a little bit higher. When I talk about building higher, I don't think that we need to build 15 floors everywhere, not at all. But you know, right now we build 2.8 floors on a lot of in a lot of streets. Maybe we can go to 3.8 or 4.8. We have to build denser and also smaller units, not only big apartments. So if you build smaller units, you can have more of them. But if I talk about housing, I'm also talking about housing for people who don't have enough money to pay something. You know, for the
sure,
with the
I mean,
prices.
it's recognised, isn't it? The prices are really high.
Absolutely. The prices are really high, and we have a lot of people living in very bad conditions. And so I think we have to work on this, and we have to work on the housing first. I really believe in housing first for people who are homeless, you know, telling them, now you have first a house, a home, and then, you know, and then we take care, if you want to, about your drug problems, alcohol problems, etc. But the housing first really works. We already did that in Aish with CNDS, that's an association. It's done in Finland, in Canada, and it really works to help people to stabilize themselves, etc. So I think housing is a real big issue, and I think that we can everybody can do better, and we have to do better.
Okay, so that's housing. Mm-hmm. What's the second issue?
The second issue would be traffic, I think. Traffic also on different levels. I think of pedestrians, for example. They have to be to walk in security, you know, and not being annoyed by bicycles, etc. I think of disabled people or elderly people. I want them to go where they want to go. So we need public transport. We need also, if they need their car, that they can take their car, but they also need secure pedestrian walks. And there we also need then more bicycle lanes and better bicycle lanes, because we need lanes only for bicycles, so that they are not on the pedestrian walk, and that they can also go faster.
But hang on, isn't the argument that even if we had great cycle lanes, mm-hmm. that's still only 5% of the population? The other 95% of people are in their expensive cars. So shouldn't we design the city with the 95% in mind?
Okay, but if you cannot have more cars than we already have, because you are just in traffic jams. So we need, actually, a bicycle takes much less space than a car, for example. So I also own a car, but when I'm in the city, I only take my bicycle. It's much faster, but not everybody can take the bicycle. That's why I say, okay, there are people who need to take their car, but they don't want to be in traffic jams neither. So we need bicycle lanes, and if you have good bicycle lanes, then you leave even your kids taking the bike, because right now, you know, it's quite dangerous taking the bike for kids if you don't have a real good bicycle lane. So I think, but also, you know, the public transport, that's always an issue, because all people who take the public transport are not in their car, and people take the public transport if it's better than their personal car, if it's faster, for example, and if it's comfortable. So I think that's an issue. Traffic is a real issue for this election.
Okay, so housing, mobility. What is your third hot topic?
The third topic is also a big topic. It would be living together, I would call this. So we are a city with 72% of non-Luxembourgish residents. a whole melting pot of different people. I always tend to say that there's all this knowledge from the whole world coming together in this country and in this city. So take all of these traditions, this knowledge, and make out of this city and of this country the greatest city and country in the world. I think we can do that. But if I talk about living together, it's also giving back the streets to people, you know, the quarters, that there is life in the quarters, that people can meet. For example, tiers-lieux. We want to create tiers-lieux where people can meet. I have visited one in Junglinster. That's a great thing, you know. You have refugees and people from here and expats, etc. They all get together, making projects together, etc. And of course, my heart issue would be the Gare, of course.
Sure, which is it's a mess, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it is. It is a mess. I'm sure we are going to talk a little bit longer about it, but it's a pity. And I still own a shop at the Agar. It's going to celebrate its 100th birthday next year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I think we can do much, much better to give this quarter also back to the residents, to the people. Yeah, we need more life in the Agar, and people, you know, very often they talk about security issues. If you talk a lot about it, then of course everybody is afraid, and I think that people should not be afraid of going outside, of walking outside, etc. That's why we need to give the streets back to the people. We need to also deal with problems that we have. There are problems, but then let's face them and let's try to solve the problems one you know, and not put everything in the same category actually.
Sure.
So,
however, the DP have been in power for quite a long time. So some people would say they should have sorted these problems out already.
Yes, the world of course evaluates, and so there are, you know, it's not, we are not stuck in one situation. So of course the problems evaluate too. We are in an open country.
So very quickly, what is one policy success over the last 10 years that in the city?
Yeah, a big success is the tramway, of course. I think that's a real success story. If you look how many people take the tramway, how easy it is now to get to Kirchberg and to get back to the Gare, and now to almost Hovald and later on to Gasperich. I think that the tram is a real success story, and I'm really proud being part of the government who built this tramway.
And what is one thing that you should have done better? Let me guess, is it what you were just talking about? Is it the Gare, in fact?
So, yeah, but let's just for one thing, it's maybe a small thing, for your question just before, what is a success story also, but it's only a small thing. It's the bicycle bridge under the Adolf Bridge. Actually, it's very, very difficult to bicycle there because there are always tourists, and it's just great. It's you know, it's a great architecture. It's a great idea, and I'm really happy and proud that we could do that. So yeah, not a success story. Is probably the Gare, Avenue de la Liberté, Avenue de la Gare. I think I told you the tram is a success story, but everything that is around is not. So, you know, we don't have benches anymore. There's no green, you know, it's baton, you call it like this in English. You know, it's too mineral, there are no shops anymore, there are maybe Avenue de la Gare, also too many buses. We need also to give these streets back to the people, and we need again shops. We have, for example, in our program also a covered market, like for example in Munich, or and I think that should be at the Gare, you know, where people come and where they can buy food that they don't find anywhere else, etc. So we have some big plans and great projects, and I think we have to give also this quarter back to the people, and we need again shops, and we need life and terraces, big terraces, and yeah, nice places to live. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a quick question here, because for people like me voting for the first time, I've seen all these posters around the city. Now I know, so your name is on the DP list. There are other candidates in the DP list.
27.
27. How do we vote for you?
Okay, you have two ways of voting, and actually today we launched one video telling people how to vote, not for whom to vote, but how to vote. So you have two possibilities, two options. First option is you vote just for one party, for example the DP, then you put a cross over the party. That means that you give one voice to every candidate on that list. But if you want to support one candidate more than another one, then you have in Luxembourg City, I'm only talking about the city, you have 27 votes. You can give a maximum of 2 votes per candidate, but not more than 27. And you are not allowed then to vote for the party. So only the candidates then. So 2 options, or you vote for one party and you give one, then it means that you give 1 vote to every candidate, just put a cross at this party's name, that's it, that's all you do. Or you vote for candidates, and there you can put up to 2 crosses per candidate, but not more than 27, otherwise it's not valid anymore.
Wow, wonderfully complicated. Well, I'm looking forward to voting for my first time.
I'm looking forward to that too. Great.
Let's
Congratulations.
see. Well, I look forward to meeting you the day after the elections, and we can see the results. Corinne Cahen, thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, for inviting me. Thank you very much.